Guys and girls, today's lesson is on circumference of a circle. You did some exploring in class in terms of what a radius is and a diameter. We're going to go over the formula and how to calculate it and talk about those terms that you explore today in more depth. So, as hopefully you remember, the diameter of a circle is that line segment that runs right through the center of the circle. And so this will just start labeling that. That is the diameter. And let's just choose another color here. The radius is the line that runs from the center of the circle to the outside of the circle, or what we would call the circumference. So the circumference of the circle, again, it's like finding perimeter. You're finding the distance around. Okay, so this blue line is called the radius. And so the other thing that you need to know in terms of calculating the circumference is this little symbol here. And that symbol is called pi, and we spell pi, P-I. And what pi actually stands for is the number of times the diameter of the circle divides the circumference. So it's that kind of ratio, and that pi is always means this number here, 3.14. And 3.14 is actually rounded. There's actually several numbers that come after it, but we round it to 3.14. So when we're trying to find the perimeter or the circumference of the circle, we use this formula here. So instead of P equals, if we were going to find perimeter of a rectangle, for example, we use C for circumference. So C equals, and it's that pi symbol times the diameter. Or we could write it like this, C equals pi d, because we know when we have a symbol or a number beside a letter and there isn't anything in between, it symbolizes or it means multiplication. So you can write it like this, or you could just write pi d beside each other like I did on the right hand side here. So then we plug in the numbers and we go C equals 3.14 times the diameter. So in this case, I'm going to say that the diameter is 10 meters. So you go 3.14 times 10. C equals 31.4 meters. And that would be your answer there. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple of other examples. All right, so the circle on the top, we're going to find the circumference for. We have the diameter. We know it's the line segment that runs from one side to the other right through the center. Apply our formula. C equals pi times d. C equals 3.14 times 9. C equals 26 meters. Now, one other thing to note is there's actually two different formulas that you can apply to circumference, because sometimes you're just given the radius. And again, the radius is in this circle down here, and the radius goes from the center of the circle to the outwards, to the circumference of the circle, to the outer part of the circle. So that's the radius. So if you're only given the radius, well, then you have to apply a different formula. Basically, the radius is half of the diameter. So the other formula to consider is pi times the radius times 2. Right? Because the radius is the diameter times 2. So it's pretty much the same kind of formula. It's just sometimes people find it easier to plug in the radius. Or the other thing you can do is just in your mind, you can double 6 and then use the above formula, pi times d. But I'm going to use the formula where you're only given r, or given the radius. So in this case, it is 3.14 times 6, which is the radius here, times 2. And that answer is 37.68 meters. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the formula for circumference, and I'm going to attach your question right here on the next page. All right, so this is your question for tonight. Calculate the circumference of a circle with each diameter, and then they give you the formula to use. Please submit it right on Google Classroom, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.